Last year, of course, we won Blood Brothers. I told everyone before the beginning, you have no idea what you have started.
W's only.
And by the end, they realised. Now, just as we were preparing to get ready to start to defend our trophy, COVID-19. But you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me, because now I'm going to take over DTFC in the digital world.
Oh, what a goal!
And I'm going to make DTFC champions on FIFA. And the reason why I'm letting you know is because I want one of you to come and join us. You can be anywhere in the world, doesn't matter. I want you to join the team. You need to go and register at esoccerchampionships.com, and there's £500 up for grabs for the winner. And the opportunity of representing DTFC in the Blood Brothers digital series.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the government guidelines for players to return to training, because they have said that no player should be forced back. Also, we're going to be taking a look at a story that broke yesterday, and I'm sorry, but I've got to laugh because I actually didn't think it was true to begin with. But apparently, one of the rules that may well be brought in is that when you tackle now, you're not allowed to look at the player. You have to look away. I'm not even joking. Seriously, wait for the story. And the last piece of news involves Mikel Arteta, and we'll have a little in-depth look at his time at Arsenal so far and what he's doing to improve the team.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is with the Premier League and the government guidelines for players to return to training. Now, I mentioned this in the story yesterday and was saying that they're going to be, putting some details out there. And they've done a 14-point summary of everything. And it's pretty straightforward. And they also make it very, very clear that no player should be forced back to their clubs. The UK government says no professional athlete should be forced to return to training, stressing that choice should be a personal one. The Department for Digital, Cultural, Media and Sports issued a document on Wednesday featuring guidance designed to allow each sport to make a risk assessment and when it's safe to return to training and to resume amid the coronavirus pandemic. The document is not legally binding and does not replace any government or Public Health England advice, but it's rather a set of recommended minimum practice guidance on a return to training. Proposed measures include a deep cleaning of facilities and a regular screening of athletes and staff for COVID-19 before and after they enter the premises. This is expected to be carried out by an appropriately trained healthcare professional. All athletes and support staff will be expected to engage in one-to-one check-in prior to any resumption of organised training to ensure they have understood the sport-specific risk and mitigations, training site protocols in place and the physical and mentally well enough to proceed. I know our sports stars are keen to get back to training and this guidance will enable them to do so in a safe way, said the Secretary of the State for the DCMS. Our top priority is protecting the health of athletes, coaches and support staff. Enabling athletes to get match fit is an important milestone towards restarting the competitive sport behind closed doors, but we have not given a green light yet. We are clear that this can only happen on the advice of medical experts and when it is safe to do so. The guidelines have been put together following consultation involving athletes, coaches, chief medical officers, chief executive, performance and operation directors across a range of Olympic, Paralympic and other professional sports. So yeah, look, it's pretty straightforward. They've kind of detailed that document that we were speaking about in yesterday's show. But they're making it very clear as well that no player should be forced back into training. And again, this does, back my argument and what I've been saying. You cannot physically force a player to go back into training. You can't physically force them to go and play football again. And there should not be that risk of, just take their money off them then, just stop their wages. It doesn't work like that. If they don't feel safe, if there's a genuine reason why they don't want to go in and put other people in harm's way, then you can't sit there and say any differently. We saw the story of Aston Villa. There's one player who has his mother-in-law living with him, and she's in remission. So she's massively high risk. Why would he go and put her in danger for a game of football? Sorry, it doesn't work like that. End of story. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what players do go back. I think a lot of them will. But again, it's still early steps, and we will wait and see whether football actually gets going. I know that sport in Portugal is getting the green light, and even Italy is getting the green light, but they're a lot further ahead than the UK. Italy were, one of the worst affected, just behind the UK, but they are a good 3 to 4 weeks ahead of us. And their lockdown was a lockdown, not the kind of crap that you've seen in this country, which is my biggest concern and worry. But listen, they put the rules in place, there's guidelines, and we'll wait and see when that gets going and when players start to return to training. And no doubt, if players refuse to go to training, we'll find out very quickly who they are. Next story. I can't actually believe this. I saw this yesterday and I thought someone's on a wind up. This cannot be in any way, shape or form thought about being introduced into the game. And Graham Souness was giving his thoughts on it. And that is the suggestion that players should turn their face away from tackling. Oh my word. Just the more I say it, the more I start laughing, because it's just absolutely pathetic. Now, Graham Souness, you probably know him more noticeably from his time on Sky Sports and, his talking to Paul Pogba, should we say. There seems to be a little something with him there and Paul Pogba. But in his playing day, most notably for Liverpool, he knew about tackling, most definitely. And he has said that this is probably one of the most daftest suggestions that he has ever seen. He says that it's been written by someone who has never played the game and doesn't understand the game. You're meant to tackle and turn away. What if you make the tackle and end up with the ball at your feet? That's the daftest thing I've heard so far about the returning of football. When you're playing football at the highest level, you get yourself to a place where you are only focused on the next 5 seconds. That's how you get through 90 minutes. You haven't got time to think about anything else. Corner kicks, free kicks, you have to look at the man. That isn't going to change. Defenders are paid to keep the ball out of the net. That's their focus. The only thing that may change is the celebration, but the rest of the game cannot change. You are in the moment. It's not a rule, it's a suggestion, a recommendation. But if you are a player, you are only interested in what is a metre in front of you. And you have been programmed like that for many, many years. So, listen, I don't think there's anybody within football who disagrees with him on this. This is absolutely absurd. And what he's saying is so true. Whoever's thought of this idea has clearly never played the game of football. They clearly do not understand the game of football. Turn your head when making a tackle. You might as well just 2-foot someone and then just say to the ref, sorry, I didn't see him. Sorry, I had to look the other way when I was making that tackle. That's why I was late. That's why I was high. Sorry, mate. Nothing you can do about it. Can't send me off, can you? Come on, man. I understand you wanting to get the game back, but things like this is just laughable. It's absolutely pathetic. Can you imagine bringing that in? You got to turn away when you tackle. Behave yourself, man. I don't think that one will get past. Absolutely no chance. Last piece of news involves Mikel Arteta, and Football London have been looking at some of the things that he's been doing since he's joined Arsenal. And in the early months of his reign, Mikel Arteta has accomplished a great many of feats that have historically proven difficult for Arsenal managers. He has beaten a top 6 rival. He has won a European game in a tricky away ground. But of course, we did mess that all up by, not beating Olympiacos in the second leg. And perhaps most impressively of all, he has shorn up a defence that looked chronically incapable of stopping their opponents from scoring. There is one absence from his early managerial CV that shines brighter, however, the absence of a Premier League win on the road. Arteta remains firmly in a position where he can point to a small sample size after all Arsenal have only played 4 Premier League games since his appointment, and in other competitions they have won at the Vitality Stadium, Fratton Park and of course at Olympiacos. His 4 away games in the top flight have also not ended in defeat and have included a credible 2-2 draw at Chelsea whilst down to 10 men. And yet Arsenal, as much as any other club, are aware of how much they've struggled on the road. It is only 2 years since they ranked amongst Europe's worst sides on their travels and had to go from December the 28th, 2017 to May the 13th of the following year, searching for 3 points on their travels. That was in Arsene Wenger's last season, wasn't it? Absolutely awful that a club the size of Arsenal can go from December to May with no away wins. Wow. In that season, Arsenal had the home form of title winners. Only 10 points were conceded at the Emirates. No team but Manchester City were more formidable on their home ground. Away from North London, though, the Gunners were an inferior travelling band than Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Southampton. So there lies the problem. Our home form was decent. Our away form was worse than the likes of Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Southampton. Absolutely pathetic. And the one thing Mikel Arteta has done since he's came in is shore up that defence. Most notably, it's so clear. He's got players playing. Even the likes of Mustafi's looking decent. So he's, clearly set out from early that that's what he wants to do, build a base, and then he can work from there. And obviously he, done all this with the intention of completing this season and then rebuild in the summer and bring in the reinforcements that he wants. But yeah, he's going to have had time the last couple of months to, sit and look over things in more detail. And, it's kind of like a pre-season, if anything. So he's getting a pre-season in the middle of the season, which could well benefit us in the long run. I've seen massive improvements. People can laugh about our league position or anything else, but it's baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day and it's not going to happen overnight, and it's as simple as that. I'm happy, and I think most Arsenal fans are happy as well because they can see signs of things improving, and I'm really happy with that so far. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. Definitely let me know about that one and tackling, and you have to turn your head. And also, if you're an Arsenal fan, let me know what you think of Mikel Arteta so far. Do you think he is improving the side, and do we have positive signs ahead? If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot tomorrow. I'm out of it.